And then I tell them up front too, I'm an investor agent and I'm here to do what's best for you. And, looking at the numbers, you can net more if you do this. But if you really want to get a cash offer and a quick close, I'm here to help. So I give them some options up front. And when you do that, it's really easy to pivot based on what the response is. Whereas if you come in as an investor and then all of a sudden down the road, you're flipping your hat and then trying to get a listing, they're confused. So the hard part with this and, talking to a lot of people and even, listening to people on your podcast, it can be challenging, but if you do it the right way, it makes it a whole lot easier. So for me, I found it easier to go the retail route at the beginning and then convert them over to the motivated seller side.
What's up, y'all? You're listening to the Carrot Cast podcast, the podcast with a funny name, but a big mission. We help thousands of real estate investors and agents grow rock solid mindsets, do better marketing so that you can build a business of freedom and impact. I'm your host, Trevor Mock. Let's dive into today's episode. Alrighty, guys and gals, welcome back to this series on FollowUp. So this series on FollowUp kind of birthed from us having conversations with clients, and it's a really competitive market, both on the retail side and on the wholesaler investor side as well. And one of the keys that you find in a competitive market, non-competitive market, doesn't matter, but really amplifies in competitive market, is we have to follow up. When it's a big time buyer's market, oftentimes you take down the deals and you end up not having to do a lot of follow-up on the seller leads or things like that. But when it's a big time seller's market, or when there's a lot of competition, a lot of agents, a lot of investors, whatever it is, all competing for the same deals, we have to amplify our follow-up. And so in the first session, we talked with two investors and we really talked, what do you need to do in that first 24 hours, 48 hours, 30 days, 90 days in detail. On this one, we're bringing on Miss Shemeika Fox and Mr. Tyler Ford, and we're going to be diving in on the retail side of things. What do we do for follow-up that's working really, really well in a competitive market? So before we dive in, I want to toss over and make some brief introductions, but both Shemeika and Tyler have been on the Carrot Cast before. But welcome back on. Shemeika, pumped to have you on the follow-up series. Why don't you give a 60-second intro on all of your amazingness.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. No pressure here. Hi, I'm Shemeika Fox. I've been selling real estate for, almost 18 years in Santa Cruz County and the peripheral counties. And, we just really pay a lot of attention to the client experience. For me, if I'm shopping for anything, I will pay more and or go farther to get what I want as far as customer service, client experience, and just complete experience in a whole.
Cool.
So that's what we provide to our clients.
I love it. And guys, one of the things to go check out the other episodes with Shemeika as well, where she dives into video, how they use video really well, how they're creating a lot of great content there in Santa Cruz. So go check it out. Our website is, bam, you beat me to it. Love it.
And that's that is my art. I've found video and I love it. It just makes me happy.
I like it. And we've got Mr. Tyler Ford on here. So guys, Tyler's an old veteran on content here at Carrot, but Tyler, give it a 60-second intro on yourself. And we're going to focus on the retail side of here, but you have another side of your business as well.
So I've been a licensed agent here in Tucson, Arizona for going on, I think, 32 years now. I got my license when I was in college, did my first foreclosure, which hooked me on real estate, and then got it. I bounced back and forth between the retail side and the investor side. But the nice thing about, being a hybrid, depending on the market, you can do a lot of different things and be versatile. But I do a lot on the retail space. A lot of what I do is organic SEO. And like Shemeika, over last year, I've really focused more on the video side of doing things and upping my game in terms of video and doing a lot of video follow-up, which we're going to talk about. So cool. Excited to be on, Trevor. I appreciate it. And I'm always trying to up my game. And Trevor's a big person that's helped me level up over the last, going on 3 or 4 years now. I'm losing track. Yeah. It's going fast.
Man. I love it. I love it. And guys, both of them talked about video. So in this, we're going to be talking about how you as an agent or an investor listening to this as well can really amp up your follow-up using video the way that they are and the other ways that they're doing it. So I'm going to pose a question for both of you guys, and we'll start with Shemeika on this one. So let's say a lead comes in, an introduction is made, a lead comes in, however it comes in. What are you guys doing right now to make sure that you're building that relationship with that seller or buyer? Maybe it's different, and you guys guide the conversation, whether it's different on the type of lead. But what are you guys doing in the initial phases to make sure that connection is made and follow up? And then we're going to go into long-term follow-up here in a second. But Shemeika, what do you do as soon as a new lead comes in to start to build relationship and follow up?
So I always send an intro text or email, depending on how the lead came in. My preference is text because I feel like it's a little bit more immediate. Emails kind of get pushed to the side. But if I only have an email contact, then I'll do it via email. And the initial text will have, "Hi, I'm Shemeika Fox. Check out my intro video," and it'll link it to my YouTube channel that actually has like basically my clients talking about me. Like it's awkward to talk about yourself. So we have a really good intro video that has them saying everything that you need to know about me and my business. And then I ask a lot of questions. Like if it's a buyer, what are you looking for? Where are you looking for? What are your likes and dislikes? What are your non-negotiables? Do you have a price range in mind? And just kind of like start an open dialogue. The more engagement you get from the open-ended questions, the more likely that you will be to convert because they'll feel comfortable with you. On a seller's side, it's the same, tell me about your house. What have you done to make any improvements on your home? Where is your home located? What do you find that would be considered special that maybe you wouldn't see from the naked eye? Things like that again will help a homeowner feel pride of ownership and really just start that engagement. Obviously, we want to make the appointment. We want to go and see that house, or we want to go and show properties to a buyer. But just getting people to open up and feel comfortable with you, I think just comes from open-ended questions and starting dialogue.
I love it. And guys, we talked in the first follow-up series session about open-ended questions as well. And so it's so key because a lot of us will ask a very closed-ended question or we'll ask a very complex question that requires a lot of thinking from them right out of the gates. And so the questions that Shemeika was mentioning that she asked out of the gates to those buyers and to those sellers are very simple questions for them to answer. Like very, very simple questions. And that then elicits that interaction, that engagement, like Shemeika was saying. Quick question here, Shemeika, then I'm going to toss it over to Tyler. So you mentioned text message works best or email. At this stage, is this all manual right now? You pick up the phone or someone on your team, or is any of this automated at this point?
It is automated depending on how you come in. If you are a referral from a past client and they're texting me or messaging me, "Hey, I was just referred to you. They have my personal number," and they're reaching out, that's all manual. If they come in from an online source, from my Carrot website or from Zillow or Redfin or something, then they'll get that intro message, which is, "Hi, I'm Shemeika Fox. Here's a little bit about me. I'll be in touch shortly to discuss your real estate needs." And then I follow up. I try to get to them within an hour or so or less is my goal, depending on what my day looks like. But that'll be just like kind of a automated message that goes out.
Cool. I love it. And we're going to talk about timing here in a little bit in this session too, guys, because the market's really, really competitive right now. So how do we make sure that we're building those relationships before they go to work with another agent or an investor? So I want to toss it over to you, Tyler. Your business looks a little bit different than Shemeika's. You've got the investment side of it, a wholesaler. You've done a lot of flips in your day. And then you've got the EXP agent side of it too. But you don't, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, you're not actively out there showing for buyers, correct? Or do you have your EXP agents doing that?
Oh, it's a combination of both, but for the most part, I love to generate leads, do organic SEO, and I get a lot of leads coming in. Yep. And so depending on the type of the lead, I'd say I'm 90% of my leads that are coming in, I've got a system that goes out to a handful of agents within my EXP team. But again, the hard part for me is those leads come in and they want to work with Tyler just because as you do video marketing, you're building the rapport with the people, and they like and trust you even before they get to you. So that's been the challenge for me is, I'm able to generate a lot of leads, but if they come in through my YouTube channel and video, a lot of times they want to work with Tyler. So so it just depends on where that lead comes from. If it's a warm market lead, typically what I do is I use BombBomb, and I do a quick, really personal video that has their name. I've got this little sign that, they've got the GIF banner, and the click through and the open rate on them is just, through the roof. So that's worked really well. But if they come in through my IDX, it's got a really good back-end CRM that does the heavy lifting, and I kind of let them just go through that funnel. But again, it's a little bit of a challenge because I do try to generate a lot of leads on the retail side, but then refer them off to agents within my rev share.
Gotcha. So let's talk about the video part of it. So both of you guys have a video component early in your follow-up. And this is something too, if you're an investor listening to this going, what am I going to learn from a couple agents? Guys, that's one of the biggest things I want investors to learn is investors are so tucked behind the messaging oftentimes where they're disconnected oftentimes from building that personal relationship, whether it's on their websites or their follow-up. And if you investors would do what they're teaching here in this, you guys would really stand out big time when you're reaching out there to that motivated house seller or whatever. So let's talk the video side of it. Let's kind of break down BombBomb and what you're doing with that. So a lead comes in, Tyler, and you'd mentioned there's certain leads that you'll do that for, and then the other ones that are coming through IDX, you'll just kind of let them go through that process until they become qualified. What might you say on that BombBomb video? And is it just an email that goes out or a text message that goes out to them?
Well, you can do it either way. But again, it's just it's like 30 seconds or less. It's just an intro. Hey, my name's Tyler, appreciate you reaching out. And you got that cool little GIF that makes them click it. And it's pretty simple. Here to help. Love to listen to see if I'm the right fit for you. So let me know when a good time to connect is. I mean, it's that simple. But both on the retail side and the investor side, I've been employing the BombBomb video intro strategy, and it works really, really well.
What kind of responses are you getting from people versus something without a video?
Well, the response rate is, I would say, more than double through video. I mean, it's I would say even more than that. But the other thing, and this is not to change subjects a lot of times when people come, depending on whether it's the website or through YouTube, before they get to you, they're already sold on you. Because the one thing that I think people miss is on your website, on your Carrot website, the about page is so important. Because if you look at the analytics on your website, I would guarantee you the number 2 visited page on your website is your about page. And I think where a lot of people go wrong is they don't spend a lot of time on their about page. And the more time you spend on your about page, when they do get to you, they've already read up about you, and they know that, when I get them on the phone, they typically tell me everything about me already, which at that point, that you've connected with them and you've got the rapport, and it just kind of sets the stage for less competition as far as them reaching out to other people.
So Shemeika, I want to throw this over to you because you do a lot of video as well. And guys, I want you guys to go to her website. We mentioned it at the start, and it's yoursantacruzrealestate.com. And have you found the same thing on your end, Shemeika, where, because you do so much video, that it really pre-frames and makes all of your follow-up more effective?
Absolutely.
Are you finding the same thing?
Yeah. It changes my job from having to sell myself to just being able to get to know the client. And they, like Tyler said, they've already vetted us. By the time that they have input their information, they know who they're talking to. They've gone to YouTube. They've gone and watched the videos on our channel. They've read about us. Most people in this day and age are savvy enough to do their research before they input their information in a pop-up that says, please input your information. So I think by the time that they get to us, they actually know us, like us, and trust us enough to give us the information that we need so that we can follow up with them.
Yep. And guys, I want everyone to take this takeaway from this, because while so many people are working on these massive follow-up campaigns, which are good, like they're good. What if we just put like half of that effort into building the trust, credibility, and content before they ever even opt in? And it's probably going to make the majority of that massive follow-up campaign irrelevant or not needed, because now you've already captured more of those people in the first week or two after they opted in, or you even increased your opt-ins because now you've built that credibility with the video and the trust with it.
And on that, Trevor, I think simplifying people's follow-up procedures is going to be a game changer. You know, like just have like one message if you're going to automate that goes out with like, this is my about me. And then you follow up with a personal note after that.
I like that. I like that. So that right there, guys, and they both do that very, very similarly. A lead comes in. And depends on where the lead comes from. There might be slightly different treatment from that, right? But the lead comes in, and then they follow up with a personal approach. Okay, there's a personal approach right there. And so in this market, both of you guys have been in the market for a long time. How have things changed right now? Let's talk sellers first, but how have things changed for seller follow-up right now versus maybe where it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, a while ago?
Tyler, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this market. I don't want a market meltdown, but
spinning.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want a market meltdown, but I'd like a nice shift in the market where inventory levels go up. On the sell side, I don't know. It's. I mean, getting listings is key, and right now in Tucson, we've only got about 600 active single-family homes listed in the MLS out of a town of 1 million people.
We have 175.
Yeah,
really?
It's crazy. So, doing the video and doing the little things that are different from what other people are doing are key. The one thing that I've seen too in this market, we're being squeezed for commissions. Yep. So you got to be able to provide value. But on the sales side, on the seller side, you get the listing, and if it's priced right, it's going to sell. But doing all the little things up front, good photos, drone photography, Matterport, all those things that you do up front helps to get the next listing, because you can use that in order to show people what it is that you do, a nice floor plan. So I tend to go the extra mile and do all the little detailed things, which then helps when you're meeting with a seller to show them what you're going to do. And, I pay for all those costs. So I like to do that because I like my listings looking really, really good in the MLS. So that's just me.
And I think that's key, is just really showing the value, because they could sell it on their own, but I think having the proper exposure and the proper marketing and the proper presentation will cost them less than what they will gain as a result of what we do as agents. Like it's rare that I sell a home that's not staged, cleaned, professionally photographed, videography. Like we really spend a lot of time and energy on the presentation first and then the marketing package second, so that even in this hot market where you can put something on the MLS and it'll sell in a hot second, that we really make sure that we're selling it to the right buyer with the right terms and for the most that we can get for our sellers.
Mm-hmm. So let's say a lead comes in, and it could be buyer or seller, and you do the initial reach out, and like we talked, very, very high personal touch in the beginning. They both use video, and it's working amazingly well. I think if you're not using video right now, you have to be really, really good with that text message to build that relationship. But let's say it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month out. What do you guys do with those leads that don't end up really turning into a client right away? From there, is there any automation from there? Kind of, what do you guys do after that?
Yes. We put everybody on a weekly newsletter campaign. So they'll get what's going on in Santa Cruz, what is going on in the market, what listings we have coming on the market or have sold listings, so that they can see what the market is doing. And they will be put on that. And it's, informational and interesting, in my opinion. And just also community oriented. We focus a lot on community. And then they'll get a monthly market update, which will dive deeper into the national market update, as well as our local centralized Santa Cruz real estate market, so that they can see that as well. And that that's email based, and that's through through BombBomb. Both of those are through BombBomb. So they'll be video centrified as well as content relevant.
Cool. Yeah, I remember there's a local agent. We absolutely love them. You know, they're my agent, and we've been trying to drive more and more towards video. And they've latched on this past 6 months or so. I've been seeing some good Facebook ads and Instagram ads or videos, but they still send out the big text email that looks like it's a copy and paste with an intro sentence at the front, which is the market report. And Tyler, on your end, we were talking last week, and I think you were mentioning that you do something around videos on the market side as well. Do you guys find that you get more interaction when you, once again, we're bringing that personal touch more, but do you guys find you get more interaction when you follow up with that content via video versus just text and written?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do, I use FollowUp Boss. I've got BombBomb, FollowUp Boss, but every month I do the monthly market report. It's about a 10 to 12 minute video where I just highlight. And that's like, out of all the videos that I do on YouTube, that tends to get the most views. But through FollowUp Boss every month, depending whether it's, you know, buyer, seller, investor, anybody on my list, I send that email once a month. And that's always a big hit. I get people, like, the numbers haven't come out yet, and I've got people emailing me already going, hey, when are you going to send out the next video? So
Gotcha.
That one, out of all the ones that I do in terms of just monthly follow-up, because it's relevant, you know, they want to know what's going on. So that one works really, really well. But it's a personal video of me just going through, updating what the numbers were for our market report.
Mm-hmm. And guys, here's one big distinction when you look at the investor side versus the agent side. I was talking with a couple of my team members about this morning. Is on the retail side, on the real estate agent side of things, in general, like, you know, plus or minus in general, the real offer or the real service is the person. It's the agent, right? It's the person behind the business, because in general, the agents are charging around the same type of a fee. All right, there might be a flat fee broker over here, and that's their way of getting it or whatever. But in general, the fees are kind of the same. So after that, it's the agent, and then, like Shemeika was saying, it's the service that they provide. She stages the houses, they're professionally clean, they market, their marketing methodology is one of those things. But when we're looking at the investor side, you have the trust and credibility and a dollar amount offer. So that's like what people are weighing. It's, do they seem like they're trustworthy and credible, and what does their offer look like? Retail side is, do I like the person, and does it seem like they could probably sell my house or help me buy a house competently and better, right? And so when we're looking at the content to follow up, that's why it's really important to take these market reports and make them personalized, make them a video, because if you're providing the same data as every other agent in that same market, then how the heck are we going to ever stand out? If we're providing the exact same market data, which is the exact same market data every other agent has access to, how do you present it in a different way to stand out in your follow-up? And that's exactly what Shemeika and Tyler are doing, which is awesome. So you guys both do heavy personalized up front with the video, put them into follow-up, and then there is content that you guys are dripping out to them on a consistent basis, including a monthly market report. Is there anything else that you guys do outside of that, or is that the main cadence from here on out?
No. We do. So everybody who was a past client, as soon as we close the deal, we will get their birthdays, their anniversaries. Obviously, we know now their housing anniversaries. So their birthdays, they get a birthday card with a gift certificate to like a local place that they can go and have a drink or ice cream or whatever. Anniversaries, same thing. And then housing anniversaries, it's the same. Plus, we also send them a market update on specifically their home so that they can see like how their value has changed, if it's changed at all. So, and those are like all snail mail. And aside from that, we do pop buys. So on a quarterly basis, we'll pick a cluster of probably 20 clients, and we'll drop off. Last Christmas, we did bouquets that we made with a local florist and chocolates. And then this spring, we're planning on doing like little mini coffee bags from a local coffee shop that we partnered with. So just like staying top of mind. And most of our business comes from either referral or past clients, friends and family, even though we're like very prevalent on the internet, but like people can say it better than we can say it. So we just let them, and we stay top of mind so that they don't forget to.
I love it. I love it. And guys, Tyler, for you, man, once they go into that long-term follow-up, anything else that you guys are doing that's been working well for you?
Well, similar. I don't do as much. So
get on it, Tyler.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, my assistant is amazing.
That's
Sarah,
awesome. A lot of what I do is automated in FollowUp Boss. So I do birthdays, anniversary dates. We send out an Amazon gift card. So the gift card's actually automated to where they can just get it on a birthday. So I do a lot of that, but it's more automated through FollowUp Boss because you can put in certain fields based on their birthday and anniversary date on their home. So I do that follow-up. And then another video that I do, and if it's a good video that's relevant, I'll do the video and then I'll send it out through FollowUp Boss. Like we had a cool thing that the city just approved, and I'm doing that video. It's going to come out today, and I'll send that out to the entire database as well. So anything relevant, cool, that's going to catch their attention, I tend to just send it out. So some of it's random and not planned, but it's just based on relevant stuff that's happening in our marketplace.
Mm-hmm. And it's staying in front of the prospect. And once again, I'm going to kind of juxtapose the retail side versus, let's say, the wholesale side. The retail side is that big relationship building side of things, because with a retail seller, they will be a buyer eventually. And with a retail buyer, they will be a seller eventually. On the wholesale side, a wholesale seller is not necessarily a wholesale buyer. Almost never are they. And then vice versa. Sometimes a wholesale buyer, but very rarely is also a wholesale seller. And so that's kind of where there are some differences, but I do want to change the mindset of everyone listening to this that's an investor. And I think a lot of investors think too transactionally, too much like, okay, that one seller I served, I won't serve them ever again, right? Because I bought their house that they were struggling with that was in foreclosure or whatever it is. Guys, they might have amazing people in their lives that need your service too. And so maybe you might not be able to buy another home from them. Maybe you will, but maybe someone that they know can use your service. And so find ways to follow up there as well, y'all. Okay, make sure you're following up there. So Tyler, I want to toss this one over to you, and this one kind of branches into the hybrid side of things as we drive this to a close. As you and I were talking not too long ago about when a seller lead comes in, and you as a hybrid investor agent, you'll go talk with the seller, and we're going to break down a lot of this here, coming soon in our summit. But you go talk to the seller, but then after that, if it ends up not being a cash purchase, you then have some sort of automated direct mail follow-up that then goes to them, I think. You want to break that down just really quickly? Because I think it's something a lot of people can use on the agent and investor side.
Usually I do the opposite. I kind of do a takeaway close. Cool. To where, they're a motivated seller. They want a cash offer and a quick close. And right out of the gate, to get rapport, I try to talk them out of it. Mm-hmm. And I ask them a lot of questions, and, that type of person, is exchange. They want speed and convenience for price. But again, I always ask the question, why wouldn't you want to list it in the MLS and sell it retail and put more money in your pocket? Because at the end of the day, you're going to net X amount more if you go that route. And I always ask that question up front. And, asking that question right out of the gate, it builds trust and rapport, because, they think that you're just not going to, you're all about trying to give them an offer and beat them down on price. So, and then I tell them up front too, I'm an investor agent and I'm here to do what's best for you. And, looking at the numbers, you can net more if you do this, but if you really want to get a cash offer and a quick close, I'm here to help. So I give them some options up front. And when you do that, it's really easy to pivot based on what the response is. Whereas if you come in as an investor, and then all of a sudden down the road, you're flipping your hat and then trying to get a listing, they're confused. So the hard part with this, and, talking to a lot of people and even, listening to people on your podcast, it can be challenging, but if you do it the right way, it makes it a whole lot easier. So for me, I found it easier to put on the go the retail route at the beginning and then convert them over to the motivated seller side. That's always worked well for me.
Yeah.
I love it. If that makes sense.
And correct me if I'm wrong, after you come back, then you have in the past at least sent a direct mail piece out to them that might have said, hey, if you're looking to sell, we can make an offer or list it, one of the two.
Yeah. So if they're not reasonable on price and the numbers don't make sense for me, I have an agent in our office that I give him the address. He sends out a direct mail piece that says, hey, in this market, it's not as effective as it's been in the past, but it basically says, if we don't sell your house in 90 days, it's free. So we've got that postcard ready to go. He sends that out and then he follows up with them and works to get the listing. And that's worked really, really well. It hasn't been as effective, lately with this market, but, prior to COVID or, even probably a year into it, he was getting 1 to 2 listings a month as a result of doing that. Mm-hmm. And then I get the rev share. I get the referral and the rev share.
Gotcha. Dude, you need to change it from 90 days to 9 days now.
I know. Like I need to say 25 days, whatever the average days on market is. Exactly.
That's right. Well, I want to toss it back over to you guys. So we've gone through the minute the lead comes in, how do you build that amazing instant rapport with the personalized video? And then where, if they don't turn into a client right away, we put them into long-term follow-up, which is more content, more personalized, video, market reports that are video. Once again, guys, we're really hitting the video side of it. And then also celebrating them at their important timelines and milestones in life. Anything else to add, Shemeika or Tyler, as we kind of wrap this into a bow, or any advice for agents in this market with the follow-up to take more of the leads that they're getting and turn more of them into happy clients?
I think just be your authentic self and show that through video, show that through follow-up, show that through intention and getting to know other people. People want to work with the people that they want to work with based on, I think, experience and personality. So be yourself, let that shine through all of your marketing, all of your follow-up campaigns.
Cool. I love it. Tyler.
Yeah, I would agree. So, for years, I've kind of been afraid of video. Didn't think I did good video, didn't want to do video. And, Trevor kind of over the years listening, and even Shemeika's, I think it was about a year ago now when you were on, I committed to 2021 to doing video, and it's been absolutely amazing, and it just hit record. It can be a little painful at first, but you get better at it as you go. So it was a struggle for me, and I just avoided it. But I agree. Be uniquely you, because people want to work with who they like and trust. And your videos are going to resonate with a certain type of people, and you attract like people, which makes your business even that much more fun because you're attracting like people. And so one thing, I do a lot of lifestyle videos on YouTube. So I end up attracting like people based on the things that I like to do in my area. And that's amazing too, because now you're working with people that just love doing everything that you like to do.
All the people that want to run 100-mile races with you, Tyler. How many clients do you have that are willing to run a 100-mile race with you?
I've got a few, actually. I just got a client, Vaughn, that's an ultra runner, and he saw my stuff, and I tried to refer him off to somebody else, and he got all pissed off, and I can't get rid of him. That's awesome. Yeah, they work well. So it's just be you.
You got to bring your team into your videos so that when you say you don't just get me, you get so-and-so. I usually on an intro, they're a lot of people ask, how many people are you working with right now? Basically trying to assess if we have time for them. And I think introducing them to my executive assistant, Sarah, and our buyer's agent just kind of bridges that gap so that they know, I'm going to be doing the heavy lifting. I'm going to be answering all of their questions, but I might not be the one that's opening doors.
Gotcha. Yep.
Good advice, because that's what I'm struggling with.
Next time, 2022 fall.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, hopefully you guys and gals who are listening to this episode have taken a bunch of notes here. And I think the real theme is with great follow-up, it's not just about getting out the volume of things. It's about what you actually put out there and how do we build that connection and how do we build that trust and how do we build that rapport. And it amplifies in a busy market like this. Now, it works even more amazing, in a market that's slower, but it amplifies the need in a busy market like this, guys. So step into video more. Do those market updates, put them on your video post so they can also start to get ranked well and send people through there. Make sure that you guys are using a tool like BombBomb, or even if you don't want to do BombBomb, literally just send a video. Like I've done this to clients before and I've had people do it to me, where just pull up your cell phone if you don't want to do that yet and you want to test some stuff out, record a 30-second video on your cell phone and text that 30-second video to them. Okay, just start anything. You don't need a tool. You already have all the tools you need to do all this stuff right now. And then when it becomes so overwhelming that you have so much great business and leads coming that you don't have time to do it, then automate the stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys. Go back and listen to session 1 of the follow-up series. If you haven't, come and listen to session 3, including if you're an agent or an investor. All these sessions are going to be relevant to you guys. We want to bring more of the retail side and the wholesale side together into one industry, serving sellers and buyers even better moving forward. So thank you all. Have an amazing rest of the week. And thank you guys for tuning in on this session.